Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Today is Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. To kick things off, meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
And hello, Michael. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Ken. On a Tuesday morning, very early, feeling cold. Feeling cold across the country.
Tuesday.
There's
I feel like the
there's some
count.
really
Tuesday. Sorry.
Tuesday. And then we'll talk about the numbers later on this week. Speaking of numbers, Ken, it's cold across most of the country. There's this big dip in the jet stream that's providing this Arctic blast across most of the Midwest, and that's what shifts east over the coming days. You can kind of see how clear it is here across most of the Midwest. So a sunny start to folks on the East Coast waking up this morning, nice and dry down in Southern California. Not a cloud statewide, even down toward LA. We're looking good. A lot of that energy and moisture is over the Pacific Northwest, moving into the Great Plains over the coming days. Well, it's that temperature trend that keeps folks there a little bit milder as the next weather system moves in, providing those dry Santa Ana winds to the LA basin, but it's that warm up that takes over out west. That's just limited to the western half of the US, because out east there's this big shift in the air, bringing these harsh wind chills and the potential for 0-degree wind chills by the time we get to later on this afternoon into tomorrow. Look at this jet stream, how low it dips, even providing the cold air to places in New Jersey by later on tomorrow, and especially into Friday and Saturday. So some very cold weather on the way as all of that weather moves eastward over the coming day. So enjoy the sunshine today. There's a little bit of a warm up through this afternoon. We'll talk more about that and how it'll feel, well, like your typical winter day before the harsh chill comes in. It's like Jack Frost returns a little bit after the holidays. We'll get to those details coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. It is 7:02 on the East Coast and 4:02 on the West Coast. On the East Coast right now, we have a chilly 28 degrees in northern New Jersey, but it is 49 degrees in Southern California. That's a good thing. Let's take a look, though, at New Jersey traffic, because that's where really it exists more than any place. We have an overturned vehicle. This is on 295 northbound. Take a look at the video here that we have. 295 northbound. Just as you make it around that bend is where this thing is. Overturned vehicle, 295 northbound, south of exit 40, Route 38, Mount Laurel Township. The left shoulder is closed, and that's what's causing those folks to hit their brakes. By the time we hit our next report, that backup will be all the way to the lower right of your screen. I guarantee it. Also on 295, we have a crash investigation southbound north of exit 7 in Oldman's Township. All lanes closed there. Delays right now in the Garden State Parkway northbound from south of exit 135 to north of exit 136, about a 2-mile delay, strictly due to volume. Hudson River crossings right now. The Holland Tunnel's 15 minutes in. Lincoln is 20. And the GWB upper and lower levels at this point, we're looking at some traffic, but it's not horrible. That's actually 25 minutes to get in on the lower, and it's about 25 to 30 on the upper. Not bad for this hour at all. 4 minutes past the hour, and New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy will deliver his final State of the State address at 3 today from the Assembly Chamber at the Trenton State House. Murphy is term limited and will be succeeded by fellow Liberal Democrat Mikey Sherrill. Incoming Governor Mikey Sherrill will be sworn in next week, only she will break tradition. Instead of being sworn in Trenton at the State House, she will take her oath of office in the liberal bastion of Newark, trying to show that she's down with the struggle, down with the folks in the inner city, pointing out that I, too, live in Essex County. Only the part of Essex she lives in is one of the wealthiest parts, Montclair, where houses start at close to $1 million and property taxes are above 25 grand a year. Yep, she's down with the struggle. You go, Mikey Sherrill. You show you're down with the peeps. Meanwhile, in neighboring New York State, Governor Kathy Hochul will also hold her State of the State there, which is an inaugural, or I should say, a gubernatorial election year for her. Her message will focus on ICE and autonomous cars. And while she's doing very well in polls in New York City, the 5 boroughs and the extreme southern part of the state, and upstate in Buffalo. Outside of that, the vast swaths of New York State, she does terribly with, because the majority of New York State, believe it or not, is actually very red. It's just the inner cities that are very, very blue. So we'll see how Governor Kathy Hochul and her caps that are 4 times too large for her mouth. Let's see how she does with her state of the state. The man detained for driving a large U-Haul box truck through a crowd of anti-Iranian regime demonstrators in LA Sunday faces a misdemeanor charge for reckless driving. The LAPD says 48-year-old Kalor Madanext was staging a counter-demonstration as he approached the protesters. You see them behind the police and fire there, near the federal building in Westwood. A banner on the truck read, "No Shah, no regime, USA don't repeat 1953, no mullah," signaling support for the current Islamic Republic. Hundreds of anti-Iran regime protesters chased the moving truck, tried to yank out the driver. Got to give him an A for effort. You got some chutzpah driving into thousands of people who want freedom for the Iranians, and you're a communist who's into Islam, and you drive right into the crowd. You did try to kill people, it looks like. So that's the allegation. So we'll see where that goes. It is 6 minutes past the hour, and rappy, boozy badass was sentenced. I never thought that in all my years in television, and I'm 58, been doing this since I'm 18 on TV, never thought I'd say boozy badass, but I have. Torrance Ivy Hatch, a.k.a. rapper Boozy Badass, it's 3 times I said it, was sentenced to 3 years supervised release, 300 hours community service, and given a $50,000 fine in San Diego federal court for possessing a firearm. He's a convicted felon. The gun is a 9mm Glock 19. It was seen on Instagram Live when he was filming a music video. So he was live and he holds up the gun, and somebody said, "Wait a minute, that's not a stage gun. That's not fake. That's real." Officers recovered the gun during a traffic stop right after the video. Hatch initially denied that he had it, but investigators said they found it. They checked out the DNA on the gun. It confirmed Hatch had handled it. That's it. If you're a convicted felon, you can't touch a gun, period. Hatch ultimately admitted the gun belonged to him, not his security detail. 7 minutes past the hour, Namir Mohammed Atta was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for distributing fentanyl that killed a 26-year-old U.S. Marine back in 2020. The Marine, identified only as CMR, died from an overdose after purchasing counterfeit M30 pills laced with fentanyl. Atta sold the pills using social media in the San Diego area, marketing them as trusted and potent. A jury convicted Atta after a 2-day trial in 2022. Officials say the sentence sends a strong message to would-be fentanyl dealers. They will be caught and they will go to jail. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Arizona charged 112 illegal aliens with immigration-related crimes last week. 62 cases involved immigrants illegally re-entering the U.S. 38 cases involved first-time illegal entry. 12 were charged with smuggling undocumented immigrants for profit in 8 separate cases. It marks a huge decrease in illegals sneaking in under the Biden administration, when numbers often topped 15,000 every day. And we should mention, ICE agents up in Minnesota have captured over 20 illegal migrants who are wanted for disgusting felonious crimes involving child abuse, kidnapping, rape of a minor. These are the people who the liberals are protesting to kick out of Minnesota right now. You keep fighting that fight, Democrats. That's a hell of a hill to die on. Nearly 15,000 union nurses at major New York City hospitals have gone on strike. The strike is the largest in city history over stalled contract negotiations. Key issues include wages, staffing, benefits, and workplace safety. Hospitals and unions are scrambling to maintain patient care amid walkouts. Union leaders emphasize long-term improvements for patient care and staff conditions. Former Trump advisor Dina Powell McCormick has been named president and vice chair of Meta. She'll help guide company strategy, AI initiatives, and global investments. McCormick brings expertise in finance, policy, and corporate strategy. The role reflects Meta's focus on leadership for innovation and global growth. McCormick joins Meta as the company works on organizational restructuring and expansion. That's a mouthful. Coming up on 10 minutes past the hour, it is official. Netflix has closed on the deal for its future studio complex at the old Fort Monmouth in central New Jersey. This is going to be enormous. The Netflix CEO or co-CEO, I should say, Ted Sarandos, proclaimed Fort Monmouth is now home and it's always good to be home. When the 300-acre location opens for business, it will bring thousands of union jobs to New Jersey and billions of dollars to the region, growing Netflix's existing presence in New Jersey. They already have some minor offices throughout the state. Now they will have a major footing. The old fort will become a production facility with 12 huge world-class sound stages. Demolition of the site began 8 months ago. About 2 more years, it'll be fully ready to go. Well, there is, by the way, a couple of things happening before we do the mullet story, Pam. A couple of things happening I want to point out in the Supreme Court today. Keep an eye on it. We will, of course, carry it tomorrow. They are both stories involving trans athletes in schools. So, what we have right now in schools across the country, you have many liberal states saying that trans women are women. And we know that trans women are not women, they have penises. And when they show up in a 16-year-old's locker room and they pull off their pants, the 16-year-old girls next to them see it's a boy, biological boy. You can say what they want. Say what you want. They feel like a woman. Everybody else around them sees they're not, and they feel uncomfortable. So otherwise, why even have a girls' room and a boys' room? Why have a women's locker room and a men's locker room if you're going to allow biological men who believe they're women to be next to your little girl naked? Okay. And I heard a liberal doctor from England recently say, well, don't look, just look away. Really? Okay. Then how about we have naked people in restaurants come up to you and take your order? Just look away. Why don't we just have naked people drive your cab? Just look away. Why look? There is public decency that we have. We follow certain rules. And unfortunately for these people on the left, they don't get it. So we'll find out what the Supreme Court says. This could go either way. At this point, we're all keeping our fingers crossed that they are rational and say that no, if you're a biological man who thinks you're a woman, you do not belong in women's sports and women's locker rooms. 12 minutes past the hour. Do you know a man styling a mullet these days? I know Pam must. The annual mullet contest was held at the Pennsylvania Farm Show featuring a bunch of different mullet styles. Who knew there were? Mulleters competed in categories like best classic, modern, and extreme mullets. Judges were looking for creativity, style, and audience engagement. I'm sorry, my nose got itchy as I read that. 13 minutes past the hour. When we return, the Affordable Care Act open enrollment period ends this Thursday. What you need to know about what could be a costlier 2026 for healthcare. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will come back with your full forecast as well. And we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. We'll be right back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Tuesday live in New Jersey and New York. And now welcome to you folks in Los Angeles at 15 past the hour. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, it is a very cold morning, a little chillier this morning in New Jersey than it was yesterday, but pretty mild in LA. I mean, if you like, mild by our standards, not by their standards.
Yeah, mild by our standards, certainly. It's going to feel like a heat wave when you can figure how cold it'll be across the East Coast in just a few days with that bitter chill spreading east. Right now, that air is locked across the Midwest, but it's providing the clear sky you see here across the map for most of the East Coast today, even down toward Florida, places like Miami, a little bit cooler than average today as that chilly weather moves eastward. So we take a look at some of those winds, which will be ramping up in intensity by tomorrow. Even this afternoon could see pretty high gusts. So with the airport delays right now looking okay, I think winds may shift some of those air traffic patterns by this afternoon, potentially creating some issues. Look at the temperature trend. Out west, plenty of mild weather. It actually looks quite nice with above average temperatures across most of the western half of the U.S. However, you look east and there's a little bit of that cool down on the way that's starting in the southeast and then spreading to the east over much of the next few days. It is below average and below normal temperature that goes all the way down to the Gulf Coast as this very chilly weather spreads across the East Coast this time tomorrow. So for the rest of this week, plan on that chilly weather to get going. Look at how it dips down, so cold. The shades of white and pink here moving eastward. That is the chilly air that spreads east and will really take over by the time we get to Thursday, Friday time frame. Yeah, it's this really cold air that keeps most of the West Coast warm, but the East will feel in the chill over the next several days, especially with that cold weather moving on in. We'll talk more about how cold it gets across the East Coast, time that out for you, and take a look at the futurecast, Ken, see if there's any systems on the horizon to talk about. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Very good, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. 30 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, I should say. It is 29 in Trenton, 29 in Cape May, and in Vineland. On the West Coast, 47 degrees in Los Angeles, getting up to the 70s. In LA, not so much. In New Jersey, only to the 40s, mid 40s, not so bad, but better than yesterday, not as much wind. In terms of traffic, let's go, if we can, to New Jersey traffic. 1 and 9 right now. We have delays on 1 and 9 northbound from south of Bergen Boulevard to US 9W, 9 West in Fort Lee. All lanes are open. You can see there just a little bit of a backup. It's really just volume at this hour. We have delays on Route 15 southbound, south of 615 Edison Road to south of 699 Berkshire Valley Road, Jefferson Township. All lanes are open. Also, overturned vehicle being worked on 295 northbound, south of exit 40, Route 38 Mount Laurel with the left shoulder closed. In terms of your Hudson River crossings, Holland Tunnel right now reporting some delays on the New Jersey side. It says all lanes open, travel time to New York about 25 to 30 minutes right now. Lincoln is also 30. GWB upper and lower levels are moving pretty well. Actually, that's not bad for this hour. About a 35-minute in upper and lower right now on the GWB. And we quickly check LA conditions. No major delays, just some construction to remind people of. Right now, we have I-10 east of Monte Vista has some construction going on. Also, I-10 east at Western Avenue, there's a little construction going on there. And let's see, we have one more I had. It's not popping up now. They might have cleared that up. We will have, of course, all your traffic for both New Jersey and Southern California coming up in our next report 10 minutes from now. It is 19 past the hour. With the Affordable Care Act open enrollment period coming to a close, millions of Americans are facing important decisions about their health coverage. Now, you have 2 days to review options, understand subsidies, and avoid gaps in coverage. Kathy Hempstead is a senior policy officer at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, where she focuses on health policy, and she joins us this morning. Good morning to Kathy.
Good morning, Ken.
Good to have you on. And what most important things to know as the open enrollment deadline approaches this week?
Well, as you said, it is approaching. There are some states, including New York and New Jersey, that have actually extended that deadline till January 31st. But depending on where you're listening from, don't make any assumptions and check with healthcare.gov or your state exchange to be sure. But in most of the country, you're right, it does end on January 15th. And that's for coverage that starts February 1st. And as you've probably been hearing, we have the problem in the market this year that the enhanced premium tax credits expired at the end of 2025. So people in general are going to be seeing higher premiums than they did last year. Or if they're new to the marketplace, they may see higher premiums than they hoped or that what they anticipated. And what a lot of people are doing if they need to find a way to make a saving is to buy down to a plan with a lower actuarial value, like buying a bronze plan instead of a silver plan. And that is a way that people can make an accommodation to the fact that premiums are unfortunately higher this year than they were last year by quite a bit.
It's sad that anyone would have to do that, especially if they have certain doctors they're going to, certain things they're treating, and then all of a sudden you have to pay a lot more out of pocket because, of course, medical expenses have gone up at the same time that now the insurance expenses are going up. I mean, it's awful what so many people are going through. The good news, if there's any good news, is that the ACA services about 7 to 14% of the population, depending on if you include the Medicaid folks, the enhanced Medicaid. So the question is, do we continue down that path or do we just look at rolling people who of the 7% into Medicaid or some kind of new enhanced plan that would help out and not force the premiums up so much?
Well, you're right that this is across the board. No matter where you are in your health insurance journey, you're seeing higher prices this year. There's increases in employer insurance. There's an increase in Medicare. I mean, this is an expensive year in terms of prices for services. And also there's just been increased utilization. You're right that the Affordable Care Act serves approximately 9% of the population. It's, varies a little bit state by state. But the truth is that people that get their coverage through the ACA are currently not eligible for coverage anywhere else. They don't qualify for Medicaid because their income's too high. They're not old enough for Medicare, and they're not getting an offer from their employer. So these are your small business owners, your self-employed folks, your entrepreneurs, your people, maybe the early retirees, their family caregivers. These are people that really do need the coverage. And it's very unfortunate that the premiums have gone up so much. But I do want people to understand that if they buy down to bronze, they're getting the same coverage. The coverage is the same. The financing of it is a little bit different. So you're going to pay less month to month, but you're going to pay a little bit more out of pocket when you go to the doctor. And that's going to be hard for a lot of people. But in terms of having the coverage you need when really serious things happen to you, all the metal levels are exactly the same in terms of the coverage that they offer. And I'd also just say that, Congress is still making some noises about doing something about these enhanced premium tax credits. So it's possible that later in the year we might see a fix. And if we do see a fix, there will be probably an opportunity for people to go back to the marketplace and choose a different plan.
It would be interesting because I know the president called in now a number of the leaders of the health insurance companies. And one of the complaints, of course, since, of course, the tragic murder of the head of United Healthcare, one of the complaints was that, well, and not to justify and not to say, not to conflate or anything, but the healthcare industry is charging enormous rates. That we all know. It's huge. And they're making enormous profits. So I know the president has called in the heads of those healthcare organizations and said, hey, look, you got to do something about this. You got to chip it down a lot. I understand the reasoning, the rationale for the healthcare industry. There are good years and there are bad years. So last year we did really well. Next year we might not, because it's hard to predict what'll happen, right, with healthcare. But it's at a point where you have, as we're talking about, so many people who are uninsured, underinsured, can't afford. This is life or death for so many people. And so we can only hope that there's some resolution and the healthcare industry steps it up and says, okay, yeah, you're right. We'll cut back. Don't know. I'm not holding my breath, but we can only hope, doctor, because aside from maybe creating sort of an enhanced Medicaid that will make more people eligible, maybe at the people we talked about, the people who work as freelancers, private business, et cetera, maybe they could come on and there might be some compromise. Other than that, this is very scary for a lot of Americans who may not be able to pay more per visit like we're talking about, even though they'll get the coverage. And I know people like this, and I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I think this whole episode that we're having with the Affordable Care Act in combination with the problems that we're having in other segments, I think are really making people ask a lot of questions about the system that we have, and how well does it really work for everyone, and would there be a better and cheaper way to provide more coverage to more people? And I think the answer is certainly yes. And as for the health insurance companies, we could have a whole show about all the all the things they have done to earn a lot of opprobrium from people in recent years, and there are some Senate hearings about that right now. But I just want to point out that in the Affordable Care Act, they are limited to a certain return, and if they actually price too high and retain too much money after paying claims, they have to issue refunds to people. So I think that there's perhaps a little bit of theatrics going on with the president and his meeting with the health insurers, but the idea that they're price gouging and could just turn the knob down and all of a sudden coverage would be affordable, I don't think that's going to be the outcome that we'll see from that kind of meeting. So I'm kind of curious to see what is actually discussed and what the optics are after that takes place.
I'm glad you clarified that, doctor, because I was not aware of that. I didn't know that there were limits imposed. And yes, wait, this presidency, theatrics? Theatrics is his middle name. Amazing. Doctor, I know we have until Thursday for much of the country, and until the 31st or the 30th, the end of the month, right? For the rest of the
31st
for our area.
for quite a few states, but don't jump to that conclusion. Wherever you live, take a look, go to healthcare.gov or go to your state exchange if you know what it is, and see what your date is for you so that you don't miss the boat.
Glad you said that, because we have California now who's on. We have a separate channel in California watching. So we'll get this nailed down. Hopefully, the Senior Policy Officer at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Dr. Kathy Hempstead. Thank you for coming on this morning. Please, would you come back maybe at the end of the month when everybody
Anytime.
is done? We'll address this again. Appreciate you
Yes,
coming on, Doctor.
we'll have
A
some
great
good news. Thanks, Ken.
Hopefully, yes. Thank you, doctor. All right. 28 minutes past the hour. When we come back, being diagnosed with a life-threatening illness can turn your world upside down in an instant. One author will share his personal journey with us, and the phone lines are open too. We'll take your calls. We'll be right back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Good morning, 30 minutes past the hour, Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and the West Coast. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, let me take a quick peek. What are we up to in LA right now? 47 degrees. And I'm sure that's
Ooh, that's
frigid for them,
cool.
but I would
Yeah.
pay for that. I would
Yeah,
pay for a good
right. I know.
47. Not so much in New
Considering
Jersey
how
where it's
cold
32.
it's going to get so much colder over the next several days, Ken, and the wind chill, that just adds the insult to injury, bringing back kind of a slap in the face when you walk outside Friday morning, because the wind chills will make it feel like the single digits across most of the East Coast this time Friday morning. So we're just days away from that big chill. So you see a lot of the cloud cover moving east. Some of the showers are staying over the Great Lakes, but it's this large area of warmth that sets up for Southern California, allowing the skies to stay clear and temperatures to warm up in the afternoon. It's also what's allowing it to get cool and rather chilly at night, and that's what we have this morning. So with all of the clear sky across New Jersey, we start off nice and dry and stay that way into this afternoon. There's a little bit of rain that comes in later tonight into early tomorrow morning. You can see that here with most of that rain right now over the Great Lakes. It gradually shifts eastward and brings back the threat of some wet weather by the time we get to, say, overnight into tomorrow morning. So with some of those showers spreading right down the Appalachians and into the Midwest, these are the showers that give us some wet weather early in the morning, move eastward, and then by the time we get to later on this week, some of that cold weather pours on down and might even change some of those late day rains to some snowflakes that could linger into early Thursday morning. With the most of the cold weather shifting eastward, you see this cold front that's just plowing that Arctic air right through the Midwest. As that gets going, the clear sky goes all the way down to the Gulf, and we get another reinforcing shot of cold weather into the end of the week for Friday. So it's round after round of cold weather out east. Notice I'm blocking the West Coast because there's nothing going on there. It's nice and dry and stays clear, even right down toward the coast. Maybe get a little bit of a marine layer by the end of this week each morning. But beyond that, it's pretty much the average deal going forward. Beyond that, into Thursday and Friday, and then into the weekend, heading into next week, you'll see a lot of that cold weather sticks around. And while the weekend is super cold across most of the East Coast, it's that scenario where it's too cold to snow again, and it keeps all of that cold weather preventing from any system from coming in and giving us any snow here in the Northeast. So I think we're pretty quiet going into that realm. As far as Southern California, we're nice and dry this morning, and we stay clear going into this afternoon. We'll talk more about that and what to expect with the longer range forecast, Ken, in your next weather update. Take a look for the rest of the month coming up in a few minutes.
I always said to be reborn as a meteorologist in San Diego or San Diego would
Oh,
be
yeah.
wonderful. You could just roll out of
Sure.
bed, show up to the station a minute before, throw on some makeup, and say, "And beautiful sunshine today in San Diego with 74 degrees and dry. Back to you." Am I wrong?
You sound like Dallas. You sound like him.
Dallas Raines, for those who don't know, Dallas Raines was, and that was his name. I got to meet Dallas. He
Yeah,
came to Channel 7 when I was there. Handsome son of a gun. But of course, maybe he had a little, I don't know, I don't know. But
maybe a little.
I
Just
need
just a
I
little.
need a little. I need a little is what I need. But Dallas Raines, super nice guy. Mega star in weather in LA. Super cool. All right, sir. Check back with you. Appreciate you. It is 29 degrees in Trenton right now. It's 32 northern New Jersey, 31 degrees in Vineland right now. We look at traffic on the East Coast. We have a crash on 295 northbound south of exit 34, Route 70, Cherry Hill. Left shoulder and left lane of 3 lanes are closed. We have the 295 Ken? Maybe. No. I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. Pam said we're not doing it. You're Pam. I apologize. I did not cross it off my list. We have a crash now on New Jersey Turnpike, I-95 express lanes northbound in the vicinity of exit 72. That's what we were doing. So you could see the people all lined up there on the left side of your screen. That's due to that crash. Disabled bus now on 280 eastbound, east of exit 12. That's by the Garden State Parkway in East Orange. That we do have a camera shot of, I know. One shoulder is closed on that. So again, that's 280 eastbound, east of exit 12, Garden State Parkway. We saw a little bit more. Maybe they cleared it up because a minute ago that was stopped. Now you can see it's kind of moving slowly So maybe they cleared that up. We'll double check there. Also, an overturned vehicle on 295 northbound south of exit 40, which is Route 38, Mount Laurel Township. I'm looking at that camera right now. It's just starting to build, but moving. So the good news is none of these are causing total stops. That is good news. Let's look at our Hudson River crossing, shall we? The Lincoln and Holland are both reporting only 20 minutes in. Actually 25 minutes in, excuse me. GWB upper and lower, you could see the backside view. And getting slow now, a little on the heavy side. Now it's 35 to 40. Upper level is on the left there, and the lower level is on the right. Over to Los Angeles, we have the Caltrans Freeway Enhancement Project on the I-605 to improve commuter travel and freight movement. Also, lane closures on the Antelope Valley Freeway in Lancaster, ongoing construction work there. And we have ongoing Caltrans work we mentioned. Oh, this is different. Lake Hughes Road to Vista del Lago Road. That's to upgrade guardrails. And we have, let's see, high wind warnings and wind advisories issued for parts of Southern California, specifically Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ventura. 36 minutes past the hour, and being diagnosed with a life-threatening illness can turn your world upside down in an instant, forcing patients and families to navigate fear, uncertainty, and decisions nobody is ever prepared to make. One author is sharing his personal journey through that experience and the lessons he believes can bring hope to others facing serious illness. Glenn J. Delakian Sr., is the author of Everything to Stand and president of CSAV Systems. Good morning, Glenn. And I want to, before we move on, is it CSAV or CSAV?
CSAV. It's funny. People
I'm
ask
glad.
that
I
all the
wanted to
time.
double check. There we go. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I even went online. I'm like, how's that pronounced? I wanted to make sure I got it right. Well, good morning to you. What inspired you to write Everything to Stand?
Well, as we were shocked by this journey, and again, thank you for having me this morning. As we were shocked by this diagnosis, we really didn't know a lot. We didn't know where to go, where to look, what to do. We certainly had some friends who were doctors, which were very helpful and guided us to start us off. But as I progressed through this journey, I realized there was much that had to be learned. And there are certain things you can only learn through suffering, as I found out. And many people ask me questions, not only along the journey, but immediately following the diagnosis and the good actions that were taken to help me. And they had questions, and I had those same questions. So I decided to take my notes from the time through the journey and put it down on paper to answer questions, give people guidance, but most of all, to give people hope and encouragement, because any one of our doctors consistently told us that your faith and strength of positive attitude is what's going to get you through this.
So you had a rare form of bile duct cancer, right? Which I will attempt to pronounce here as intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma. Did I get that?
That's correct.
Kind of
That's
close.
correct.
All right.
It's
having
very
had
rare
issues
illness.
with the bile. Yeah, I know people who actually, I know one person not with that cancer, but they thought they were investigating to see if they had that cancer. So when I read it was you who had the cancer, I thought, dear God, because we're talking about potentially spreading into the entire liver, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And beyond, actually. And one of the biggest challenges with what we call the beast is that it's often either misdiagnosed or not caught in time. So 90% of people who are diagnosed with it, it's pretty far down the line. And surgery, for example, is not one of the options for them. It was for me, but not for most people.
Wow, because I guess if the cancer spreads through the ductwork in the liver, then you can't unwind the ducts throughout the liver, right? I guess if it's at the end by the gallbladder, I guess that's removable. Is that kind of what they told you, or?
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. In my case, Dr. Jean Iman, who's an incredible surgeon in New York Presbyterian Hospital, he actually rebuilt my bile ducts. So he removed 60% of the liver, removed the gallbladder, rebuilt the bile ducts, and I'm here to tell the story. So when I first met with him, there was very little hope in my mind because I had just been told I had maybe months to go. But when he saw what I had and recognized it, that's why diagnosis is so important. He actually drew out what he was going to do. And I'm watching him draw this on paper and I'm going, TMI, like, where's this all coming from? I knew the guy was brilliant the day I walked out of his office, but the 14 plus hour surgery was just extraordinary. And I came out of it all clear, and spoiler alert, I'm still here. And it's been it's been 44 months since my clear diagnosis.
Thank God. And you found, like, don't tell me there wasn't an angel of the Lord above who put you and that doctor together, because there probably isn't another doctor on the planet who could have and would have taken the time to figure out how to deal with that and surgically remove that. That's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah,
And you had a lot of
I'm
strong
glad you mentioned
support
that.
from the family. Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you had, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
there were a lot of miracles that happened during this, and that's the biggest inspiration for me for the book. That God is still in the miracle business, and good things happen. And with faith and prayer, you can really bring you to a next level. And it was important. My doctors even said, they, quite frankly, if they could have bottled it, they would have given me a prescription to be positive, stay focused. It helps your immune system. But God's hand was definitely in this, and that's why I named the book "Everything to Stand," because it's words right out of the Bible.
And the amazing thing too is the liver regenerates. There's a miracle in and of itself. So your liver, who knows, in a few years you might have a full liver again. That's the amazing thing about the liver. As long as you take good care of it, right? It'll grow back. It's the only organ that
Well,
does that.
it actually grew back in full with less than a year. And
It's
yeah,
insane.
it is. It actually grows to fill the space, and they don't know why it stops. It just grows to fill the space, and you have a new liver. So, in essence, I have a teenage liver, maybe younger, an infant's liver. It's only 3 years old. But yeah, they took out 60%. Even when they do liver transplants, I learned they slice the liver up and give it to multiple people. I never knew that.
Right.
It's a very extraordinary organ. But yes, it does rejuvenate.
No, it is a miracle. It is a miracle. What's a website, Glenn, so people can get the book and find out more about you?
It's authorglennjd.com. That's authorglennjd.com.
Glenn J. Delakian, Sr., author of Everything to Stand and president of CSAV Systems. Get the book, Everything to
Yes,
Stand.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
God bless you. You are here for a reason, my friend. And to
Thank you.
spread, even if it's to spread the gospel of your savings and that
Exactly.
wonderful doctor you had, you're here for a reason. Great to have you on. Come
Thank you,
back
Ken.
again, please. You bet.
God is good, my friend. Thank you.
Amen to that. I'm with you 100%. It is 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, corruption, power, and the price of truth are at the center of a new legal thriller that's already earning strong praise from critics and crime writers alike. The author of Illusions of Trust joins us next. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We'll be right back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 45 minutes past the hour, taking your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast for your city.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Very good morning, Mike. Look at this. Let's see what LA's up to. 48. It went from 47 to 48 degrees, but we are hovering still at 30 in New Jersey and Trenton. But the interesting thing is, considering the fact that it's going to get really warm there, you can go to the beach later today. There, not so much here.
No, not so much here. It's going to be another day to bundle up, and it gets colder over the coming days across most of the East Coast, while the West Coast stays dry. Like you had mentioned, those winds coming off of the mountain, so we're very dry with those Santa Ana winds taking over this afternoon, giving us some pretty gusty conditions across the LA basin. The forecast there points to that high pressure sending that wind right down across the hills, allowing for that drying trend to continue. And it stays dry. You see a little bit of that valley fog developing overnight into tomorrow morning. And then when that dissipates, the dry weather continues, pushing all of that moisture even out to sea. So not even a marine layer until we head into this upcoming weekend, when those winds start to relax. And you'll see those low clouds kind of creep back in along the shore by later on this weekend into Saturday, Sunday time frame. As far as the rest of the country, especially out east, we start off the week rather cold, but only get colder as the week goes along. So with the clear sky today, notice a lot of that wet weather staying off to our west until tomorrow. These showers are very light and spotty throughout the day for mostly northern New Jersey tomorrow, because that system passes to the north. But as it does provide some cold weather, might see a few rogue snowflakes overnight early into Thursday morning. And then Friday has another round of clouds, but the cold weather really sets up and kind of is here to stay over the upcoming weekend. And that's really the case across most of the northern half of the country right through the end of the month. You see all of that cold weather locked in place to have below average temperatures for most of the Northeast. Out toward the Southwest, above average temperature, so it's much milder and drier too, with that dry weather sticking around for even portions of the Southeast and heading up to New Jersey, keeping most of New Jersey in a drought. But Ken, like you had mentioned, none of California is in a drought. 0% abnormally dry. That is a big improvement as we head into rainy season, Ken.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. It is 29 degrees in Trenton, 30 degrees now, northern New Jersey, and it is 30 degrees in Cape May. 30 also in Vineland. Usually it's a little chillier in Vineland at this hour. Very good to see. 48 minutes past the hour. In terms of traffic, we have a crash on 295 northbound south of exit 34, Route 70, Cherry Hill Township. You can see a lane is blocked just outside of the screen, causing a little bit of a slowdown too. Pam will pull back to me because we have a different overturned vehicle on 295, but not near there. It's northbound south of exit 40, Route 38, Mount Laurel Township. The left shoulder is closed in that case. Now we come back to northern New Jersey, and we have a crash on the Turnpike local lanes, northbound in the vicinity of exit 72. And you can see what's happening there. A lot of volume as a result. A little bit of a backup being caused by that. Your Hudson River crossings right now, Holland Tunnel is not too bad, 20 to 25. The Lincoln is 25 to 30. GWB upper and lower levels getting really heavy now. They're giving us a back view. That's the lower level. So upper is kind of where it says on air, now where it's sort of on the left side of your screen. You could really not make it out, but the lower level you could see is moving, but slowly. In either case, we're told it's about 35 minutes, either upper or lower, into Manhattan at this hour. In terms of news, corruption, power, and the price of truth are at the center of a new legal thriller that's already earning strong praise from critics and crime writers alike. Illusions of Trust is the latest novel from award-winning author Jeffrey S. Stevens, and it draws heavily from his decades of real-world experience as a practicing attorney in New York City and Connecticut. And we say good morning to you, Jeffrey.
Good morning, and thanks for having me, Ken. Before we get started, my wife made me promise that I would say we've been fans of yours for a long time, so it's really fun for me to be on your show. Thanks.
Thank you. I was going to say, clearly you have no taste. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Believe me. My mother says thank you too. But no, it's great to have you on. And clearly, you've been a busy man, 9 novels. But Illusions of Trust marks the start of a whole new series, right? What drew you to this story?
For years I've been writing thrillers, espionage thrillers based on a gentleman that I knew in the CIA who's now no longer with us, unfortunately. But he told me some great stories, and I wrote some books that I think were fun. And I did a father-son saga, and I did a murder mystery. And then I decided to hark back to my days as a young attorney in New York City because it's not only fun, but New York itself, as you know, it becomes a character in the book. I mean, the places, the bars, the restaurants, everything. And so I said, let's go back and do something there. And years back, I handled a celebrity divorce, a very high end celebrity divorce. And I really didn't do many divorces, but I thought, boy, that would be a great centerpiece. And that's how Illusions of Trust came to be.
I love it. Now, the divorce, though, in the case, in the book, it starts routine, but it quickly turns dangerous, right? Does that happen often?
Absolutely. Yes, yes. I'm a big believer, by the way, when it comes to thrillers, that good thrillers have to have good villains. If your villains are two-dimensional, the thriller is not going to be that great. This particular book has a bevy of villains. There are a few that you could get your arms around. And so the young lawyer, who's this idealistic attorney, Russell Palmer, has a mentor who's a retired NYPD detective, Robbie White, who is actually based on somebody else I knew, and together they are get involved in this thing where suddenly there's a suicide, a murder, there's corruption, all centering around a pharmaceutical deal. And so it really gets increasingly complicated, increasingly twisty. And I think people like that. I mean, I've been getting great reviews, as you said, which is very gratifying.
That's a good thing. Yes, I love a good thriller like this. This is awesome. And it touches on pharmaceutical influence, right? And then political connections with the pharmaceutical influence you were talking about
Absolutely.
and corruption. So is there
Yes.
corruption in New York? I mean, how's that happening?
Oh, come on. I made that part up. Yeah, I made, but that's why this is fiction. That's why it's fiction, Ken, because, I made the part up about corruption. But yeah, I mean, with everything going on and, I don't want to say rip from the headlines or anything like that, but clearly, pharmaceuticals, the cost of healthcare, all of that is so current. And, I started writing this book well over a year ago. But the more I looked into it, the more I said, wow, this is something that people have to get their minds and hands around because it's a serious issue in this country. And so I took it from a fictional point of view with an idealistic attorney, as I say, a very talented detective, and a real host of bad guys who try to stop them as they uncover layers of deceit. That's what the book is about.
I love it. When you had your practice and you were practicing in Manhattan, did you have like a regular watering hole? Because when I was at Channel 7, I mean, I was with Laurie Stokes and Bill Evans. There were like 3 or 4 places that we would frequent on like, oh, it's Monday, we go here. Oh, it's Tuesday, we go there. Did you have that as well?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I remember your team, by the way. Yes, we had a couple places. One of which is featured in the book, which is PJ Clark's, which is amazing that it's still there. And for a while, PJ Clark's, for people who may not know, it's hard to imagine, but it's on 55th and 3rd Avenue, and I lived 2 blocks down. So my office was on 64th and Lex, and my apartment was on 55th and First. So that was an obvious place. But there were some great places that still survive. I mean, Il Molino, although the uptown location just moved, it was great, and we used to go to Shun Lee. But the restaurants that we circled around, and they don't exist anymore, which is really sad for me because I actually represented them. I don't know if you remember the Caridi family, but they had Friar Tuck Inn, La Maganette, and Lobster Shanty, all
Cool.
within 5 blocks of each other.
I
And
remember La Maganette, sure.
that was big. Remember that? That was one of the
Yeah.
first big outdoor cafes in New York. It was enormous.
Yep.
And I actually did that deal. And so that was a lot of fun. But my favorite place was Friar Tuck Inn. It was on 55th and 3rd, right across the street from PJ's. And it just had a great set of bartenders, and it was great. It was like going home every time we went in there. So yes, I had regular spots.
I love it. I love. And by the way, the PJ Clark's had another location right across the street from Channel 7, over on the west side. They opened up about 9 or 10 years ago, I want to say, and I believe it's still there. Channel 7 is no longer at where Channel 7 was, by the way. They just moved down by the Holland Tunnel, but they were
Yeah,
there
they,
for
but they were
40,
over
50
near.
years.
Yeah, they were near their Lincoln Center. You're talking about, right?
Correct. Correct. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
Channel 7 was right across the street. So
yeah.
yeah, we used to
I
hang out
was
there.
to
That
that
was
one.
where we had special events.
Yeah, that was also a good place. In fact, small world. I have a niece who worked there as a waitress, and so we used to go there to see her and get a free drink or something. When I was still in New
That is a
York.
small world. You were right across
Yeah,
the
yeah.
street from us. You're going to come by and said hi. So now, how does setting the story in any other city would have made it an entirely different story, right? So making it
I
a New
completely agree.
York setting is everything.
Yeah, I completely agree because there are just places, the bars and restaurants we're mentioning. I mean, the King Cole Bar, and the hotel that comes up in this story, the Monkey Bar, Central
Mm.
Park. I mean, there are just things about New York that is so unique. My just on a personal note, my kids were both with their in-laws for Christmas Eve, and so my wife Nancy and I decided, like on the spur of the moment, we said, well, we're not doing anything, and we hopped into Manhattan because we're up in Connecticut now and walked around, saw the tree, had a lunch at Il Molino. It's just a special place. It has a personality. And I hope that, survives whatever's going on right now because, these are difficult times for a lot of metropolitan centers
Yeah.
around the country. But it really does. And I think it creates that sense. First, for people who know the places, I get a lot of reaction from them. But people who don't know them say, "Boy, that was really fun. I felt like I was in New York City," and that's a big part of the book because danger lurks around every corner. As my publicist says when he took the title "Illusions of Trust," he said that trust is the most dangerous illusion of all, which I thought was a great tagline because that's what the book is about.
That's fascinating. And this is the first installment in the Russell Palmer and Robbie White series. So what can readers expect next with about a minute left here?
Yes, thank you for saying that. We have another one that's in the hopper about a young black man who's unjustly accused of murder, or is he? So there's that one where Palmer gets involved, and there's another one about a missing celebrity. So we've got a couple of them as I say, in the hopper, and we're working hard. I have a gentleman that helps me with plotting the things out before I write them because if I'm on the wrong track, he'll just say, "Boy, that really stinks. You got to change that thing." But
I
it's
love
very
it.
helpful, and it's just a lot of fun. As you said at the beginning of the interview, if you had told me 20 years ago I'd have 9 published novels now, I would not have believed you. So that's pretty nice.
I love it. And I'm sure many more up there. Author of Illusions of Trust and Other Novels, New York attorney Jeffrey S. Stevens, now living in CT. Thank you for joining us this morning. Come back again, please.
Thank you so much for having me,
All right.
Ken. All the
We're
best
coming
to
right
everyone
back.
for 2026.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Sunshine today, a few clouds later. Highs mid-40s. We head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a full check of the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
You know, it's so funny doing just the New Jersey version of our show, as opposed for those who don't realize we're doing first hour is in Los Angeles and New Jersey. Second hour is just New Jersey. It's so much more autopilot for me to say on New Jersey mornings as opposed to mornings with Ken
Yeah.
Rosato. And I don't know, it just feels more, it feels like wearing comfortable shoes.
Well, you're doing well with the LA traffic, right? Ventura Drive and
I'm trying to learn how to
How do you say
pronounce
that?
Sepulveda.
Sepulveda, that's it. Sepulveda. We'll get there. Reminds
You
me
know,
of Topanga
it's
on Boy Meets World.
Topanga. Yep. Just learning all the highways. That's going to take me like 6 months to figure them all out. By that point,
We'll
we'll
get
have
there.
a traffic person.
Well, we're starting off the morning with quite a bit of cold weather, Ken. So if you're headed out early, be sure to bundle up because temperatures today really don't move. We're going to stay feeling quite chilly, like we're in the 20s now. It's already 19 degrees actual air temperature in Flemington, starting your morning at 30 in Newark. Feels like 23, feels like 16 up in Sussex, and feels like 28 in Atlantic City. So all of this cold weather that remains today due to a little bit of wind. Winds aren't gusty now, but they turn very gusty later today. And we've even lost a few degrees from this time yesterday, anywhere from, say, 1 to 7 degrees cooler. All of the clear sky that's around today, making for a pretty feel throughout the afternoon, but then the clouds return through the end of the day across all of these clinic locations here, the Audio Nova offices, up there toward Ramsey, 45 degrees, 46 in Randolph, and 48 in Freehold. With the extra clouds that move in through the course of the day, there will be plenty of that cold feeling that lingers into this evening. And then you look up and say, hey, that cloud looks kind of dark. I wonder if it's going to rain. And you're right. There is some rain that follows shortly thereafter into this evening. So while today is dry, very windy conditions by the end of the day, you see those hours moving quite quickly. That will bring in the threat of some quick passing showers later on tonight, but most of it stays across northern New Jersey tomorrow afternoon. Then by Thursday morning, there's enough cold air to potentially allow for a few snowflakes to fall, even coinciding with the morning commute on Thursday. And then following that is brutally cold air that brings actual air temperatures down into the teens. With the wind chill, it'll feel like the single digits for Friday morning. So some really cold weather on the way. These are actual air temperatures for Friday morning at 7 a.m., 11 degrees in Morristown, 21 in Ship Bottom, and 19 in Melville. So plenty of cold weather. And it doesn't really warm up beyond that because the clouds that come in block the sun, prevent any heating of the day. So it's just brutally cold going into this weekend. As far as the next few days, look at the tumble down into the 30s and staying there throughout this weekend. We'll give you another check of the weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very, very much. We have 28 degrees right now in Trenton. It's 33, though, much milder up in northern New Jersey here, where I am in the Morris County area. And then if you go down south along the shore, we have 32 degrees. So the ocean water is moderating. It's starting to chill enough to start to cool down. It was keeping things much milder a month ago, and now the ocean is starting to get cold as well. We take a look at traffic in the area, and we have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike Outer Roadway northbound, north of Interchange 12. It's causing about 2 to 2.5 miles of delays because this is all the way out by close to 14. So all the way back to 14, you could see the delays start to build up into Interchange 12. Interchange 12 is Carteret, Rahway, and Linden. All lanes are open, but again, causing these delays. We have a crash on 295 northbound south of exit 34, Route 70, Cherry Hill Township, left shoulder closed there. And then over to 95, the Turnpike, local lanes, northbound in the vicinity of exit 72, we have a crash reported, and that's causing just a little bit of volume. As you can see, it's not nothing is closed, but causing a little volume. Do we have, if we can, Pam, I'll let you take a second there to get over to Route 21. We have a crash now reported in Newark on Route 21 by northbound Governor Street in Newark. That's as you approach downtown. It's about a half a mile out of downtown. So kind of a bad camera shot there, but you could see just a buildup of volume because of that crash there. We have a couple of other issues. Don't know why on 295. A crash on 295 northbound south of exit 34, Route 70 in Cherry Hill, left shoulder closed. And overturned vehicle on 295 northbound south of exit 40, Route 38, or I should say, exit 40, Route 38, Mount Laurel, left shoulder is closed there. Pretty busy on the roadways right now. Your approaches to the Hudson River, the Holland Tunnel is now 25 to 30, Lincoln 35 to 40. Don't know why that built up. GWB upper and lower, they were showing just the one side, the lower level before. They're still showing just the lower. You could see that you see that overpass right there? The word is, and this is the way the traffic people gauge it, if you hit that overpass and it's stopped from that point across to Manhattan, it is supposed to be 30 minutes. So anything before that overpass is longer, anything beyond is shorter. So that tells me right there, you're talking about 25 minutes into Manhattan. On the lower level, we can't see the upper, so we don't know what's going on with that, but we'll figure it out. All right, it is 6 minutes past the hour now, and Governor Murphy will deliver his final State of the State address at 3 today from the Assembly Chamber at the Trenton State House. Murphy, term limited. He'll be succeeded by fellow Liberal Democrat Mikey Sherrill when she's sworn in next week. Meanwhile, in neighboring New York State, Governor Kathy Hochul will also hold her State of the State in what is a gubernatorial election year for New York. Her message will focus on ICE and autonomous cars. There's a new law in New Jersey to regulate intoxicating hemp products, aligning with new federal standards. Products like Delta 8 THC gummies and vapes, now subject to THC limits and oversight. Violators would face escalating fines. Lawmakers say a main goal is to protect children from accidentally getting their hands on and ingesting THC-infused candy, or teens using THC vapes, and that could land them in the ER. It is 8:07, and New Jersey lawmakers are pushing social media platforms to ban any content that promotes eating disorders. Reports show that kids are greatly influenced by everything they see on social media, especially body image issues. Regulators argue stricter rules are needed to protect vulnerable users. Social media sites are being urged to police themselves, monitoring content, removing triggers, and providing warnings. ICE agents raided local businesses in Morristown, rounding up 10 people in the process. Local Hispanic-owned businesses say they saw a drop in customers and revenue as a result. Timothy Doherty, Morristown's Liberal Democrat mayor, condemned the raid. Local police were forbidden from being involved under the state's sanctuary status. An estimated 1 million people in New Jersey are illegal aliens, and some experts say that costs the state tens of billions of tax dollars every year. A major fire broke out early Sunday morning at an apartment building on Washington Street in East Orange. At least 36 people had to be taken to hospitals, including 2 firefighters with minor injuries. Many tenants had to evacuate via dark, smoke-filled stairwells. Fire brought under control just before 8 a.m. The Red Cross helping people find places to stay, and investigators are trying to figure out a cause. The state of New Jersey plans on buying land near transit hubs to encourage development there. The goal is to promote housing and commercial growth near the transportation hubs, so people then don't have to drive their cars to get there. Critics cite risks of overestimating development, while those supporting the idea say that it could be a tool to integrate housing, transit, and economic planning. Like in New York, people could just walk a few feet to get their train. 8:09 now, and officials in Greenland say they will not accept a U.S. takeover under, quote, any circumstance, and they demanded that NATO ensure its defense as President Trump repeated his desire to acquire the autonomous territory of Denmark. The problem is the U.S. runs NATO. So Denmark is running to NATO for help, and NATO is run by the U.S., so there you go. Trump told reporters last week that he plans to make a deal for the U.S. to take over Greenland for national security purposes one way or the other. And take a look at what our neighbors to the east are dealing with. Kami Mamdani was taught how to sing The Wheels on the Bus by fellow socialist masquerading as a children's show host, Miss Rachel. Can we just play this, Pam, for everybody to listen for a second?
Hello, friends. The mayor on the bus says hello, friends, all through the town. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Oh, sorry, I was getting into it. Yeah, that's who you voted for, New York. There you go. There you go. I mean, yeah, okay. Can you say it's charming, endearing, and cute? Kinda. Miss Rachel's a communist, though, just like he is. So if you let your kids watch Miss Rachel, turn off the show. Miss Rachel is a radical left-wing lunatic making money on you with her PBS show. With actually not PBS, it's YouTube. She's making a lot of money because of your streams. So just know that. The two were at District 2 3K Pre-K Center in Washington Street, Lower Manhattan, touting free universal child care. Funny, they never said how they would pay for or whether the children of illegals would be included in that free child care. How much would it cost? About $12 billion a year just for running the program in the city of New York. Are you happy and you know it? Clap your hands. 8:10 right now, and Minnesota and Illinois sued the Trump administration to block a surge of ICE officers from entering their states following the fatal shooting of a Minnesota woman last week. The lawsuit asks a federal court in Minnesota to declare the surge unconstitutional and unlawful. They're accusing the Republican administration of targeting Minnesota because of its Democratic leanings. But under federal law, discrimination by party is legal. And as federal agents, ICE officers can work in any state or territory in the union, so expect the case to be tossed out on arrival. Why was the suit filed? To make liberal leaders in Minneapolis and Chicago look tough, like they're doing whatever they can to fight Orange Man bad. By the way, ICE agents in Minneapolis have rounded up over 20 illegal aliens who aren't just here illegally, but they are accused rapists, child molesters, pedophiles, and sex traffickers. 20 of them. Some of them actually wanted for murder in other countries. And this is the hill that Democrats in Minneapolis want to die on, to protect those people. Good job. And let's hope that the voters of Minnesota wake up and vote them out of office. 8:12, it's all about alpha vibes. Check out this mini deer and a rhino, more than 100 times its size. This was the scene at a zoo in Poland last week. A tiny muntjac deer took on a massive 1.7-ton Indian rhino and won. The zoo is located about 200 miles west of Warsaw. They're playing kung fu fighting, by the way, in the background. Zookeepers said the deer was defending its mate, and the large rhino named Marusia was a gentle giant with angelic patience. Very cute. It's coming up on 8:13. When we come back, New Jersey neighbors helping neighbors. We'll tell you all about it. Sunshine today, a few clouds later, highs mid-40s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with a full Garden State forecast. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Sunshine today, few clouds later, highs mid-40s. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, I'm just looking at the temperature here. We're up to 30, up by 28 in Trenton. So it's not bad. Much of the state kind of around the same, getting up to the 40s though, right?
Getting up into the 40s, but this is our last day in the 40s, I think, for the foreseeable future, because it gets really chilly this upcoming weekend.
Until June?
Yes. Oh, yes. It's super cold, especially this time next week when we will struggle just to get to the freezing mark as our high in the afternoon. We have beautiful clear skies, sunshine right now from top to bottom across New Jersey. And like you said, with the temperatures getting into the upper 40s, it'll look a little bit better, but the feeling may not be there thanks to the cold winds that move in from the south today, making it very gusty by this afternoon. So today's high of 46, 47 degrees coinciding with those big gusts. We'll see gusts at that time about 25 miles per hour over in Long Branch, 18 mile per hour winds in Trenton, and 27 mile per hour winds in Ship Bottom. So plenty of cold weather lasting through this afternoon into tonight. And then tomorrow, windy yet again, but the winds come from a different direction going into Thursday from the west. And while those winds will be even greater throughout Thursday into Friday, we'll have that colder feel come in, making for a real shock to the system, considering just how chilly it will be going into the end of this week. We're dry today, not worried about any rain this afternoon. It's overnight tonight into tomorrow. Some of these showers work their way into the picture. You can see that in the future cast, some of them arriving late tomorrow night, lasting into the early afternoon. And then as we head into the weekend, look at what happens for Friday. Actual air temperature 7 a.m. Friday morning, 10 degrees, 17 over in Newark, 22 in Long Branch. With the wind, it'll feel like the single digits. So some really cold weather on the way. Can't even get the sun in the afternoon to warm us up. The clouds take over for most of our Friday into Saturday. And then, of course, the wind chill, making it feel that much colder. The wind chill, not so terrible tomorrow, especially with those light showers. But look at that shade of blue and then purple that take over for late Thursday night into Friday morning. 7 is how it will feel to Thursday morning, 9 in Flemington, and even colder by Friday. So there's some really cold weather on the way. As far as the weekend forecast is concerned, we're dry, maybe a few extra clouds, but overall highs struggling again just to make it to around freezing. That's the trend going into next weekend. Super cold air to start off our next week in January and MLK Day.
Looks like somebody's going to have to go down to the condo in Fort Lauderdale and do the show from there. I'm just saying, I don't know whom I might be talking about, but somebody.
Who could that be?
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. We'll check back. I don't know whom we're talking about. Don't know. The temperature right now, 30 degrees northern New Jersey, 28 degrees in Trenton. But as Mike said, enjoy your 40s today because that's going to be it. We have a number of accidents that just popped up. It always happens shortly after sunrise. The sun rose an hour ago and boom, the accident started popping up. So let's go to this one. There's a crash on the Garden State Parkway northbound, north of exit 82A, Route 37 West in Toms River. All lanes open. You could see, though, the police activity there on the left. That's where the crash is, just where it says mornings on your screen. Just in front of that is where the crash is. So again, all lanes open, but that's causing delays through the area. Just got another Garden State Parkway accident that popped up. Actually, it's a disabled vehicle southbound north of exit 135 Central Avenue in Clark. Center lane is blocked. So whenever you have a center lane breakdown, disabled vehicle or crash, that causes a mess because the emergency vehicles are going to have to come up on one of the two sides. So expect there to be maybe a quick closure. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll see if we can get a camera shot for you too. We have a crash now on the New Jersey Turnpike. This is the outer roadway northbound, north of interchange 12, Carteret Rahway and Linden. All lanes are open. Yeah, may be gone because a minute ago that was bumper to bumper. So it looks like that may have just cleared up. Separate incident, though, on the New Jersey Turnpike, which is up by exit 72. And we have a crash now reported on 295 northbound, south of exit 40, Route 38, Mount Laurel Township, with the left shoulder closed. The Holland and Lincoln tunnels both reporting 25-minute crossover times. GWB, upper and lower levels, You see, now it's starting to build up, Pam. That's the lower level. I don't know why they're not showing us the upper level, which is just left at that point. But based on that overpass, the overpass point is 30 minutes in. So we're talking about 35 minutes in on the GWB. Lower level, again, we can't tell you about the upper level because they're not showing it to us for whatever reason. Don't know why. All right, 8:20 is our time, and we're gearing up for the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, a day dedicated to giving back. Cassie Scrivener is the senior manager at volunteers programs at Jersey Cares. She joins us this morning. We say welcome to you, Cassie.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for having us.
You bet. Nice to have you on and talk about Jersey Cares' mission.
Of course. So, Jersey Cares is a nonprofit organization that allows volunteers to find easy and impactful ways to volunteer throughout the state of New Jersey. We fulfill this mission to meet critical community identified needs through meaningful programs. We have opportunities 365 days a year that are posted on our website, jerseycares.org. We also have opportunities for corporate programs, and we have annual and ongoing collection drives and days of service all year long.
So, like, if I have Tuesday where I had plans and got canceled and I'm free the entire day, I just go to the website and say, oh, they have these things available. Let me see if I can go help out.
Absolutely. Yep. You'll check out our calendar of opportunities and you can search by your area of interest, your location, ages, and you'll guarantee to find something there to sign up for.
You see my head? Why has this never been done before? This is the smartest thing, and I hope you're the one who came up with it. It is the smartest idea I've ever heard in my life. That's perfect for people in this day and age who are busy, but they may have Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday got canceled. I'll go do this. That's brilliant. This way you're not making a 2-month commitment. I can go Tuesday and help them out for a few hours. This is great.
Absolutely.
Have you found a real positive response from this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we work with volunteers ages 4 and up, and we work with agencies all throughout the state, and it's a great way of bringing all the communities together. And it's not only impactful, but by making it easy, hopefully we can get more people involved in the communities.
Oh my gosh, I love it. The MLK Day of Service now is described as a day on, not a day off. So what does that mean for the folks at Jersey Cares?
Absolutely. So our Martin Luther King Day of Service engages people across the state, where we embody Dr. King's vision to bring people of all ages and backgrounds together, strengthening our communities and building a stronger New Jersey. And we do this in honor of Dr. King's legacy through a variety of projects.
I love that. I love that. I was about 2 years ago, I was at his church where he preached in Atlanta. You still feel his presence when you walk in that church. I get goosebumps thinking about it. Amazing man. And are Jersey residents really good when it comes to volunteering? How would you say they rank up there?
Oh, absolutely. They all come out in different ages, races, backgrounds, and we all come together and we always get the job done.
I love it. What other groups are you working with right now?
So some of the groups that we'll be working with for our MLK Day of Service is Umbrella. They're based out of Princeton, where they serve foster care and kinship parents throughout New Jersey. We're also partnering with a program called Girls on the Run of Central New Jersey, where they inspire girls to build inner strength, physical abilities, confidence, and so much more. We're dealing with over 10 different agencies. One other agency we're working with for this holiday season is Meals on the Wheels of Ocean County, where they serve thousands of meals to senior citizens in Ocean County on a daily basis. So lots of amazing agencies that we're partnering with this week.
Fantastic. Are there specific projects taking place across the state?
Yes, we have over 9 projects happening on Monday, where some of them we're going to be doing kit building, where we'll have a creative component and a packing component. One example of the kits we're going to be making, we're calling chemo care kits, where the volunteers will put together decorated bags and cards and put in some items that someone going through chemotherapy may find comforting. So that's just one of the many kits that we'll be building on MLK Day.
I love it. I love it. So what is the website so that people can go online and see if if they're free on a particular day?
Yeah, absolutely. Check us out at jerseycares.org, and you can find our calendar, you can find our MLK page, and so much more.
I think that's fantastic. How many people currently volunteer on a regular basis for Jersey Cares? And then how many people will show up on at an event?
Yeah, well, you could definitely say our weekends are fuller, definitely hundreds of volunteers throughout the state because we have so many agencies that need help. But for MLK Day, we have up to 1,900 volunteers that'll be joining us. So it's a big event.
That's huge, but
Yeah,
I'm sure you could use an additional 1,900 on top of that for everything that needs to get done
of
easily, I
course.
bet. But this is such a great way to teach volunteering to younger people too, parents and their kids going out together, showing that this is how you give back to the community. I used to work with, when I was at Channel 7, I don't have kids, but I worked with Michelle Charlesworth, who was a fantastic anchor, lovely person, New Jersey resident. And I remember when she became a mom, first thing she said was she couldn't wait to take her kids and teach them to volunteer. Every year, there was always 3, 4, 5 events that she would talk about on the air, and she would take her 2 children and they would volunteer. And that's what she did. She taught her kids volunteering. Now they're young adults, they're doing it on their own. And it's you start them young, right? You teach them that of course, you need to get your school done. You need to get your work done, but you will always find a little bit of time to volunteer. Set it aside. Set aside time for church or temple. Set
Absolutely.
aside time to do a little volunteering. So, so important. I love that. Give that website again, please, for everybody.
Yes, jerseycares.org. Come join us.
That is fantastic. Cassie Scrivener, Senior Manager of Volunteer Programming at Jersey Cares. Thank you for coming on this morning. We got to have you back again, and that is just a brilliant concept. I don't know why everybody doesn't borrow that concept from Jersey Cares. Volunteer at will. Go on the website, find out when you have some free time. That's brilliant. Thank you for coming on
Thanks,
this morning.
Ken.
You bet. Have a great day and a great weekend. Happy MLK Day.
You too.
And thank you. And we're coming up on 8:28. When we come back, how will healthcare decisions made on Capitol Hill impact healthcare here in New Jersey? We know that we have a deadline coming up. For much of the country, it is this Thursday with the American Healthcare Act, the ACA. That's this Thursday for much of the country. For New York and New Jersey, that's been extended to the end of the month. But there will be an impact, and we will explain. The phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says sunshine today, a few clouds later. Last day with highs in the mid-40s, the full Garden State forecast in a moment. You're watching On New Jersey Morning, seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We're coming right back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. 32 degrees now at 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Morning. Sunshine today, a few clouds later. Highs mid-40s, but a cool down coming up. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So you're saying that we will never, ever, ever get temperatures above 30 something again, ever.
It's going to take time. Take time. Give it like a week or two, maybe. With temperatures that are on the fall over the next several days, you will really feel the chill settle in across New Jersey. It feels chilly outside right now. There's that briskness to the air, but this is a taste of what's to come, especially with today's highs that will make it feel a little more tolerable. Upper 40s, gusty winds by the end of the day, make it feel a little bit cooler toward Egg Harbor City and Hamilton, but still all of that warm weather that we're longing for, long time away. Not anticipating it to come anytime soon. With the clear sky that's across New Jersey, the rain that moves in doesn't happen until tomorrow afternoon. So we're quiet until then, thanks to the high pressure that's sliding offshore. Here are the light showers that get going late tonight into early tomorrow morning, northern New Jersey primarily. Just a few sprinkles. And then as the cold weather moves in, some of those rains transition to some snow showers by later tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Once that clears, it is all about the frigid, clear air that sets up for Thursday and Friday. Wind chills down in the single digits for Friday morning. Even as soon as Thursday, it gets cold and stays that way. So it's like a preview of the bitter cold that sets up for this weekend and beyond. Next week, super cold, and then it stays cold into the end of next week as well. Too cold to snow, in fact, as another round of Arctic air kind of pushes any system that comes up to New Jersey out to sea rather quickly. So there's our last chance of the 40s today and tomorrow, and then we're back in the freezer going into this weekend with temperatures again right down below the freezing mark, even for an afternoon high by Monday. It is cold, and it stays that way into next week. So we say goodbye to the 40s, hello 30s, and then 20s going into our Martin Luther King holiday. I'll tell you more about it with another check of your forecast, Ken, coming up.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. It is 32 degrees now in northern New Jersey. That'll be probably the last time I get to say that for a while, or maybe not, but it just won't be getting above 40 degrees, as Mike was saying for a little bit. It is what it is. It is winter. I know, accept it. 32 northern New Jersey. It is 28 still in Trenton, 29 degrees now in Vineland, and 31 in Cape May. In terms of traffic, we have a disabled vehicle on the Garden State Parkway southbound north of exit 135, which is Central Avenue and Clark, Stiles Street, center lane blocked. Actually, that's a separate one right there. That's 82A we're looking at. That's a crash on the Garden State northbound north of exit 82A, Route 37 west in Toms River. You could see in this case, all lanes are open. Police have everything off to the side. The actual wreck is just where it says mornings. We're blocking it right there, but that's where the wreck is. But that's that incident. So two different incidents on the Garden State Parkway. We have an overturned vehicle now, 295 northbound, south of exit 40, Route 38, Mount Laurel Township, with the left shoulder closed. Something else to report here, just delays though. Garden State northbound, north of exit 147 to 151. So it's about a 4.5 mile delay all the way up to Watchung Street. Happens probably 3 of 5 days a week, but today they're saying it's exceptionally heavy. Our Hudson River crossings right now, the Holland and the Lincoln tunnels are both reporting 30 to 35 minutes. GWB is now 35 to 40. We take a look at the upper and lower levels. That's the one shot they have of the lower level. The upper is apparently a little heavier. That's the 35 to 40. This is 30 to 35 right now getting in. Right after that overpass is where things begin to build up. And that's usually how they gauge how much time it is to get into Manhattan. 8:34 right now, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy will deliver his final State of the State address. It's happening today at 3, and it will be at the Assembly Chamber in Trenton at the State House. Murphy is term limited, so he will be succeeded by fellow Liberal Democrat Mikey Sherrill. The incoming governor will be sworn in next week, only she will break tradition. She, instead of being in Trenton and going to the State House to make her oath of office, she decided, as liberals like to do, it's always a show. It's always impressions. They like to make impressions. And what does this look like? Optics. Optics are big for Democrats. So Mikey Sherrill, who's a multimillionaire based on the money that she's reported to Congress. Mikey Sherrill she lives in Upper Montclair, which is like the cheapest house there is about 2 million, goes up to about 20 million. And the taxes start at about 50 grand a year and they go up into the 100,000 a year for property taxes in Upper Montclair. That's where she lives. Now, Upper Montclair is part of Essex County. Essex County is home to Newark. So she's saying, as an Essex County resident, she wants to be sworn in Newark. Newark, of course, is an urban, big inner city place. But she's trying to make it look like she's down with the struggle. Little whitey Mikey Sherrill, who's lived in suburbia and been raised with a silver spoon in her mouth her whole life, she's not going to be down with the struggle. She's going to go down to Newark, down to the Performing Arts Center. And that's a pretty place, by the way, very nice place. And I do love Newark. I'm not mocking it. I'm just saying that it's all about image with Democrats and trying to say, you see, I'm down with the struggle. So she is going to Newark to be sworn in. And that is going to be happening next week. There you go. Over in New York State, by the way, Governor Kathy Hochul, she of the massive teeth caps and talks. Listen to Kathy Hochul, because when she talks like, she can't say this. She says dis. She says this and that, because she has caps that are so big. If you go online and you Google Kathy Hochul when she was like a local administrator, mayor, whatever, from years ago, she has a whole different set of teeth. And you can see little spaces. And when she was selected as lieutenant governor, she did the pretty up, a little injection, a little filler, a little caps. So now Kathy Hochul has this. So in neighboring New York State, Governor Kathy Hochul will also hold her State of the State there in what is a gubernatorial election year. Good luck with that. Her message will focus on ICE and autonomous cars. If Republicans in New York have any shot, it's this year. They better get on it. Bruce Blakeman from Nassau County, the Nassau County executive, I think has a very real shot at unseating Kathy Bucktooth Hochul. We'll see what happens. 07 right now, 37, I should say. The man detained for driving a large U-Haul box truck through a crowd of anti-Iranian regime demonstrators in LA Sunday faces a misdemeanor charge of reckless driving. How is driving your vehicle full speed into a crowd of people a misdemeanor? Only in LA. Only in LA, where nobody can commit crimes, apparently. You can commit all the crimes you want and you get slapped on the wrist. The LAPD says 48-year-old Kalor Madanesht was staging a counter-demonstration as he approached protesters gathered near the federal building in Westwood. A banner on the truck read, "No Shah, no regime, USA, don't repeat 1953, no mullah," whatever, signaling he supports the current Islamic Republic, where women are forced to stay inside and wear burqas and can't go to school or can't drive cars. Hundreds of anti-Iran regime protesters chased the moving truck and tried to yank out the driver, as you can see right there, even shoving the police. But again, it's LA, so they don't get arrested for beating up on cops because the governor says it's okay to beat up on cops because they're liberals. Torrance Ivy Hatch, a.k.a. rapper Boozy Badass, was sentenced to 3 years supervised release, 300 hours community service, and given a $50,000 fine in San Diego federal court for possessing a firearm as a convicted felon. The gun, a 9mm Glock 19, was seen on Instagram Live while he was filming a music video. And as a convicted felon, anyone who saw that said, he's not supposed to be touching that. Officers were able to stop him in a traffic stop. They recovered the gun. He said, "That wasn't mine. I don't know where that came from." Then investigators tested it for DNA and saw that his DNA was all over it. Hatch ultimately did admit the gun was his, not that of his security detail. 839, Namir Mohammed Atta was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for distributing fentanyl that killed a 26-year-old U.S. Marine in 2020. That Marine died from an overdose after purchasing counterfeit pills laced with fentanyl. Atta sold the pills using social media in the San Diego area, marketing them as trusted and potent. A jury convicted Atta after a 2-day trial in 2022. Officials say the sentence sends a strong message to would-be fentanyl dealers. They will be caught and they will go to jail, albeit it'll take 4 years for the sentencing. Did you hear that? He was convicted in 2022, and he got his sentencing in 2026. LA. It's unbelievable. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Arizona charged 112 illegal aliens with immigration-related crimes last week. 62 cases involved immigrants illegally re-entering the U.S., 38 cases involved first-time illegal entry, 12 charged with smuggling undocumented immigrants for profit in 8 separate cases. This marks a huge decrease in illegal sneaking in under the Biden administration, when numbers were usually 15,000 every day. Nearly 15,000 union nurses at major New York City hospitals have gone on strike. The strike is the largest in city history over stalled contract negotiations. Union leaders emphasize long-term improvements for patient care and staff conditions are needed. Former Trump advisor Dina Powell-McCormick has been named president and vice chair of Meta. She'll help guide company strategy, AI initiatives, and global investments. McCormick brings experience in finance, policy, and corporate strategy. The role reflects Meta's focus on leadership for innovation and global growth. McCormick joins Meta as the company works on organizational restructuring and expansion. And it is official. Netflix has closed down the deal for its future studio complex at the old Fort Monmouth in central New Jersey. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos proclaimed Fort Monmouth is now home, and it's always good to be home. When the 300-acre location opens in a few years for business, it will bring thousands of union jobs and billions of dollars to the region, growing Netflix's existing presence in New Jersey. The old fort will become a production facility with 12 world-class sound stages. Demolition of the site began 8 months ago. For those on Supreme Court watch, today the U.S. Supreme Court will be hearing 2 major cases, or they may come out, of course, with the announcement on those cases sometime in the summer. They usually in the summer, at the end of the session is when they announce them. But the 2 major cases both involve women in men's sports and the whole issue of trans, and whether trans people could be in, like trans women could be in women's bathrooms. Those are people born as men who now decide they are women and they dress as women, and some do have the surgery and some do not. And whether you want your daughter naked in a shower room next to an adult man with a penis. And so the Supreme Court will hopefully, with rational minds, decide this case. Of course, today they hear the arguments. Do you know a man styling a mullet these days? The annual mullet contest was held at the Pennsylvania Farm Show, featuring a bunch of different mullet styles. Who knew there were different mullet styles? Mulleters competed in categories like best classic, modern, and extreme mullets. Judges were looking for creativity, style, and audience engagement. It is 8:42. When we return, when we return, we're going to have a lot more news right here. I'm sorry, Pam. I just have to rush to my later teas here, but we will have a buzz about a whole drive-through coffee concept. That's right. Just think of the number 7 on New Jersey Mornings is coming right back.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. Sunshine today, few clouds later, highs mid-40s. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast and a cool down.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
You know, Mike, we're having the owner of a chain of a number of coffee franchises coming on in just a moment. And today I have to go for a blood test at the doctor's office, so I can't eat or drink anything. Usually I'm on my fourth cup of coffee right now.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
this is like the ultimate cruelty that we have.
Oh, no.
The owner of I could eat coffee grains. That's how much I love coffee. And I am now in withdrawal like I can't tell you. Like Pam
Yes.
is mocking me in my ear.
That's okay. I'm on the
Anyway,
beam
I'm
too.
sorry.
It's what you got to do. Waking up so early, putting on the happy face, trying to stay warm today. Still don't understand the people that do the iced coffee when the weather's this cold. I mean, if that's what suits you, but still, with weather that feels quite chilly even through this afternoon, the clouds roll in, temperatures holding just above average, but this is the last time I think we'll see the 40s with dry conditions for a while. Hey, speaking of dry, most of the state, if not abnormally dry, is in a drought. Even that severe drought extends through portions of western Morris County, up to 1 inch of a rainfall deficit just in the last 30 days alone. So headed into the rest of winter, we could use a little more rain or snow in that case, but I think we have our chances of seeing some very cold weather pretty high going in through the rest of the month, especially here in New Jersey, whereas most of the dry weather stays down to our south, and some of that clips the southern part of the state into the next few weeks. The forecast for the next few days features the big cool down. We go from the 40s tomorrow back into the 30s and then 20s overnight, especially this upcoming weekend with, that's cold, down to 6 degrees on Tuesday. Single digit overnight lows Tuesday morning. So remember how we said it gets really cold? Well, there it is. Single digits on the 7-day, about a week away. So some really chilly weather coming at us. You have time to prepare, though, because it's a gradual trend that will send us down colder and colder and colder going into the next few days, even teens at the coast. So some really cold, blustery, windy conditions on the way. The coldest part of winter coming in right on schedule as everyone heads back on Tuesday of next week.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry, we're just confirming some traffic cameras, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. I haven't had my coffee, so I'm slowly responding.
You're doing well
All
for
right,
no
I will.
coffee, I gotta say.
You're very kind. I've been
You're better
drinking.
than
I'm
me.
allowed to drink like 2 glasses of water.
Oh,
You know what that's like? Telling a coffeeholic, a caffeine holic, you could have 2 glasses of water. It's like, yeah,
it's like
whatever.
torture.
All right. It is torture. Just wait until we talk we have the lady from Seven Brew coming on in just a second. We got to test this product out. I can't wait. I'm hearing great things about it. All right, Mike. Thank you so much, sir. We'll see you in the mañana. It is now 32 degrees northern New Jersey, 28 in Trenton, 29 degrees in Vineland, and 29 in Cape May right now. In terms of traffic, we have a disabled vehicle right now. Actually, we have a crash. It's on the Garden State Parkway, northbound, north of exit 82A. This has been there for about an hour. So the crash is actually where you see the yellow warnings on the left side, on the lower left of your screen. That's the accident there. You can see there's one of 2 cars there in the crash. Police have been on the scene for about an hour. They're working on that. So we'll see that, I'm sure, cleared within the next half hour, I'm guessing, based on what they're doing there. There is a second incident, though, and we'll let Pam punch it up there. This is on the Garden State Parkway, further north by about 40 miles. It's a disabled vehicle on the Garden State southbound north of exit 135. And you can see on the right side of your screen the delays being caused. This is by Central Avenue and Clark. All lanes are open, but look at what that does. Look at the backup. Everybody down to about 5 miles an hour as a result of that. We have a crash on Marsh Street in both directions by Maritime Street in Newark. The left lane is blocked there. Overturned vehicle 295 northbound south of exit 40 which is Route 38, Mount Laurel Township, with the left shoulder closed. And our Hudson River crossings, Holland and Lincoln tunnels, both reporting 30 minutes right now. GWB, we've only been able to see the camera on the lower level, which is on the right. You can see it's picked up quite a bit, 20 to 25 minutes now for the upper or lower levels into Manhattan. 8:50. Here's my favorite time of the show because I'm going to have to fantasize about my coffee. If you've noticed a lot of buzz around a new drive-through coffee concept popping up across the region, you are not alone. 7 Brew is expanding quickly in New Jersey and Philadelphia. So we say good morning to Shunori Ramanathan, a 7 Brew New Jersey and Philadelphia franchisee. Good morning, Shunori. Good to have you on.
Good morning, Ken. And we've got your coffee fix ready for you as soon as you're able.
Oh, I literally will be leaving at 9 when the show ends, heading to the dock, and by 10 I'm told I could have coffee. So I'm going to drive down to your franchise and get coffee at 10 o'clock. I can't wait.
We'll be ready for you.
So this is exciting, having a relatively new franchise in the United States. You're a big part of the brand is the energy and connection with customers. So how do you build that culture at 7 Brew?
Absolutely. One of the things that drew my husband and I, we are the local franchisee here in New Jersey and the greater Philadelphia area. One of the things that drew us to the brand was the brand's motto, which is cultivate kindness. And it truly is. I mean, coffee is sort of, our beverages are amazing. We serve coffee, smoothies, teas, energies, literally anything you could possibly desire in the beverage zone. But we really do think of it at the coffee is kind of secondary. The connection is what comes first. Um, and I think the best way that we're able to do that is every time we enter a new neighborhood, a new community, we're able to make really meaningful, lasting connections with folks. We do a lot of pre-opening. We do things called drink drops where we give free drinks to local schools, businesses, and hospitals, and we're literally making them and we're hand delivering them to people. We did, for our very first location in Turnersville, we did over 25,000 free drinks in the community. And the number of incredible folks that you get to meet who are, from small businesses, we're dropping off anywhere from 20 drinks all the way up to 500 drinks to schools and hospitals. The kind of people you get to meet is incredible. And then we also do Caffeine for a Cause. Our next location's Caffeine for a Cause is actually this upcoming weekend in Clementon, New Jersey, where we have our drive-through open and we give away free drinks and ask for an optional donation to some incredible local partners. We're going to be doing it we always start with the first responders in every community because they deserve to have a little bit of extra donation from the community if we can organize it. And then Saturday and Sunday, this location, we're going to be partnering with a great organization called the Unforgotten Haven. And they're kind of a one-stop shop of anyone who has been unforgotten in the community, or forgotten, and making sure that they're not. So whether that means helping them with clothes, helping them with food, helping them with shelter, they just do an incredible job of that. So a long way of answering your question by saying that we truly do really, really focus on the community connection and the people. And that's, I think, what really differentiates us.
Nora, that's wonderful. So it sounds like as you're a national brand, but you function as a local business. Do I have that right? Does that kind of make sense? Because that's what a local mom and
Yeah.
pop would do versus the SBs of the world. I won't even say their names. I mean, they do what they do well, but they're their own thing. Like when they come in, people know that brand. People don't know 7 Brew yet, but the idea is this sounds like, I mean, what better investment in the community than to bring free coffee or free drinks to people and let them judge. If you don't like it, don't come. If you like it, this is where our shop is. But you're serving the community and that gesture of the free drink, knowing you have a darn good product, that's the best investment you could ever make.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And at the end of the day, our model is also a little bit different in that we're pretty much drive-through only. 99+% of our business is done through the drive-through. And we're unique in the way that we do our drive-through. We don't have a speaker box. You have people coming out to your car to take your order. We call our people, we call them living menus. So they come out, they chat with you, they ask about your day, they figure out what kind of coffee you like. Ken, if you're jonesing for something that's caramel and vanilla based, they would say, "Hey, listen to Ken, I think you should get a blondie." And they'll put your order in, and then they'll have you pull all the way up, and someone will come out to your car in person and hand you your drink. So it's finding a way to blend, a really great product, speed and efficiency, but also with the personal connection that we're increasingly missing these days.
The other franchise, the only other one that I've ever known to do that was Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And they will come out. They end up getting, I mean, depending on what location you go to, I don't know if you've seen by you. I have a place in Florida, and every Chick-fil-A near us, literally they have 3 lanes of cars waiting. The cars back up to the street. And part of it is not just because people do like it, but there's that personal moment. You have someone come to the window and you see them face to face. And there's something reassuring about seeing someone face to face and being able to give that individual your order, knowing that it will be done right because you've talked to the person face to face, not through a machine that sounds like this. There is something
Yeah.
about that personal connection. That's brilliant. The other thing, of course, it dawns on me that you now don't have the people who will linger in your facility all day, for good or nefarious reasons. So that's another smart thing. But this is a brilliant concept, top to bottom. I cannot wait. I will drive down to you. I'm probably 50 miles from your nearest location. I will come to try out your drinks. It sounds fantastic. How has the reaction been since you've opened up all your locations?
It has been tremendous. It's clearly, I think New Jersey has been ready for something new. I think the greater Philly area is ready for something new. Our Turnersville location was our very first location that we opened in this market. It's Seven Brew as a brand now has 600 locations. It still holds the mantle of being the second biggest opening in the history of the brand. Um,
Wow.
it 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 really, the people went crazy for it. Turnersville is still performing exceptionally. We have 3 locations now. Our second location opened up on the shore in Toms River, and our third is in Cape May. Um,
With
and the
Clementon coming
reaction,
too, right?
and we have Clementon. Thank you, Ken. Or we have Clementon coming. It's opening officially on Jan 26th. And we have some pre-opening events that are happening. Like I mentioned, we have our Caffeine for a Cause free drinks through our drive-through this weekend, Friday through Sunday. And then the following weekend, we're going to be doing Friends and Family, which includes absolutely everyone. If people come, full
I am.
menu drinks are
I have Shador, I only have to cut you off because we're up against the end of the show. I'm so excited for you. I wish you
thank
and
you.
your family and all of Seven Brew nothing but the total best. Seven Brew, New Jersey, Philadelphia franchisee Shinori Ramanathan. God bless you. All the best to you. Thank you for joining us. Please come back.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ken.
I'll see you later for coffee. Have a wonderful day, everybody. That's on New Jersey Mornings for Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.